weather forecast today?
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, but again, away feels like it's been.
Welcome back to another episode of The Social Beaches. I'm Kelly Bowling.
I'm Carolyn Smith.
We're with the Coastal Estate team at Compass, and we sell real estate on the Space Coast and down into Indian River County. So I'm not going to name all the towns because that's a lot of places. Look it up. Google it. But if you have any real estate questions or you're looking to buy or sell, you can DM us wherever you're watching us, or you can call us at 321-422-2160 or send us an email to hello@coastalestateteam.com.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about multi-generational living, the pros and cons, what does it look like, and how can we accomplish this?
Right.
So I think it needs to start at the very base level of homes need to be built such that would support multi-generational living.
It would be nice. And this is something we see more and more and more of, and it is because the cost of housing
Is
is
high.
skyrocketing, has skyrocketed, continues to go up. The cost of maintaining your home, the cost of insurance,
Yes.
taxes, everything. So it's not just your principal and interest on a mortgage, it's all of the things. And so it's very helpful sometimes if families can live together.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think there are families that have been doing this already before it became cool, right? It was
Yes.
just part of like the way that their family dynamic has worked.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, is it right for every family? Probably not.
Right.
You have to think
Well, if
about
you don't
that.
get along with your parents, don't live with them.
Right. Definitely
idea.
not. Nobody will be happy.
Unless you're a kid, then you have no choice.
I mean, I can remember as a kid being like, I can't wait till I can move out of here and
Right.
do whatever I want.
Yes. Now you're like, can I move back and
Right?
pay for everything again? Because
That'd
that
be
really worked
great.
well for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, so having the home set up in such a way where everybody kind of has their own space. So like in-law suites are great. So like at my age, if I could move my dad in with me, he would never do it. But I would love that, right?
And you have to think about, like, do you need just like a living space in a bedroom and maybe like a little kitchenette and you share a kitchen? There are laws that prevent full kitchens in many municipalities, like a second full kitchen, because they didn't want that. But I think that's another thing that's sort of
Yeah.
antiquated that
Right.
needs to get updated. Like,
For sure.
no, we need to be able to have a second kitchen.
Yeah. So it could be like, could even be right now for my adult children that are living
Yes.
at home, like have your own space. Like,
Yes.
because let's be real, when are they going to be able to afford their own anything? A rental. I
Yeah.
found this little tiny one that I looked at the photos and I'm like, ew. And it's $1,400 a month.
Yeah. One bedrooms are the whole thing's expensive because I look at what my daughter, so she's at college and she's been in the dorm, but they don't have enough dorms. So she can't
Right.
stay in the dorm. She has to go to an apartment. So these apartments charge, like basically they charge per, so you're not signing a lease and you're responsible for everyone.
Right.
Right? So per room, if it's a four bedrooms or whatever, so each kid is paying like $1,000, $1,200, maybe more per month. If you want a one bedroom, it's like $1,700, $1,800
Yep.
a month.
Yeah.
Who can pay those things? Like what? 18,
What student?
19, 20, 21. No, the parents are paying for it.
Yeah.
And then when they graduate, or if they're home, if they're doing a trade, or if they've just gotten a job straight out of high school, and you want to put them somewhere. What was it again that you saw? $1,400?
$1,400 for a not nice one bedroom. And they're young. Do they have to have the most luxurious living space? Of course not. Definitely is not luxurious where he's living currently.
Was that still, and he had to pay insurance? I mean, not insurance, electric.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like that?
utilities
Yeah.
not included in that. No furnishings included in that. Nothing's included. And there's nowhere, there's an open parking lot. So there's no garage, no storage for anything. It's just like a tiny little kitchen
crazy.
and a tiny little bedroom and a tiny little bathroom and a little bit, just an upgrade from a studio. if
And
you
we
will.
don't live, like, remember, this is not New York City or
No.
Phoenix or Chicago. This is not a big city. This is a small town.
Yeah.
Still, I
Yeah.
mean, growing, but smaller.
Small, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just not affordable. So that is a good way for like your adult kids to kind of have a place to be if there's a separate space in the house
And
for them.
they could contribute. Like if you say, well, we're going to live, the parents are going to live with the kids that are going to live with the kids, or the grandparents, whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone could contribute something. You know,
yes.
towards the communal cost of living, and it
Right.
would be then affordable.
Right.
Instead of, I mean, there are people who are living together who are not related, don't know
True.
anything, who are forced to, families who are forced to live together because they can't afford
Yeah.
to live
Absolutely.
alone.
I can understand that. It's
Yeah.
expensive out there.
So if you have the option for multi-generational, I think it's a good option. My mom would love to live with us, but
I don't have a place
yeah,
for her.
don't have a
Yeah.
place. We don't have a
Yeah.
bedroom for her. We don't have any. She would need her separate living space. And recently, I have just sold a lot of homes where it's like it is people moving together because that's how they can afford it.
Yes.
And they're like, who gets the primary bedroom?
Right. It would be nice if there were two, right?
Yes.
One down, one up if it's a
Yes.
two-story or, you know,
Two
whatever.
primary bedrooms and two separate, like really separate living spaces.
Yes.
Even if they're sharing the kitchen and all the other, you know, that just have some little sitting area where it's not in your bedroom, but
Yeah. And I think, you know, it depends on like who you are as a person too. Like for a pro or a con, like do you like being around a lot more extra people? I'm not one of those people.
that would be a no for both of us.
I like it quiet. I really do. And somebody's like, quiet. You got 3 dogs, about to be 4. All them kids. It's still quiet. Like I wake up in the mornings before they all wake up.
Kelly's
and
on
I
her
hit
own
my-
floor.
Yeah.
You're on your own floor. That's why, I mean,
I think that
she has a
helps.
multi-story house and
Yeah.
your bedroom is the
It's
only
own-
thing.
The only thing upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the kids' bedrooms are downstairs.
Yeah.
So when they're running through the house, it sounds like a herd of elephants downstairs, and I can feel the thumps and the bumps. But
She can ignore it as well.
yeah, that's true. I've gotten really good at that.
So, yeah, I think that, you know, this is something that builders are going to have to pay, and they are.
Yeah, well,
We're
we've
seeing
seen
more
it in
and
like
more.
other areas too. It was a thing. I remember, I want to say it was like a year ago, there was a place in Arizona that kept coming up on my TikTok where they were having these multi-generational
really?
homes. Yeah.
smart.
And I had recently some people that were looking to rent. And there's a local realtor who has some investment properties, and he had kind of remodeled this house into
Yeah.
a multi-generational home where like grandma had her own kitchen, she had her own living room, she
Yeah.
had her own bedroom and bathroom, and it was a whole separate locked key that you walked into the foyer of the house, and then her little
Yeah.
apartment was over here, and the main house was through the other double doors. And it was, I'm like, this is so smart, you know?
Yeah, it's very smart. I had a client years ago. They were building a brand new home, beautiful home, and they had 2 kids and her mom. And we designed it. We were able to design it. So her mom had her own apartment. Same thing. You came in the front door, and if you turned right, that was her apartment. She had a separate lanai.
Yeah.
Her lanai was separate, so her porch.
That's nice.
That was completely separate from them. So she also had full access. She had like a little kitchen area, but she also had full access to the main house.
Right.
You know, they didn't want
Yeah.
to keep her out. Like
Right.
she had full access, and that was nice. And then I know someone who they've remodeled their home, so their house had on the first floor, it had like a little guest apartment kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then that was where the dad was, but then the kids wanted to come back home, right? The adult
Yeah.
children. So they ended up taking the upstairs and making that its own apartment
Oh.
that they moved to.
Okay.
And then the kids sort of took over what was left of the downstairs. So they
Yeah.
really almost have like 3 separate.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Because I
they
could
just
see a
did
point in
that.
life where that could happen. I mean, our parents are older
Yeah.
and we have adult kids.
Yeah.
So I could see where that would be a possibility.
Yeah, split it.
I was
into 3.
showing a model, not a model, but a home that somebody is building that's a particular floor plan of a local builder here.
Yeah.
And those people decided that they wanted a guest house on their property. So have a larger lot, and they
Yeah.
wanted it to kind of look on the outside like the main house. So
Yeah.
it kind of matches.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. It's like a little
see.
cottage guest house for whoever. I don't know if it's for their
Yeah.
parents or what the purpose of it is for being built, but it's a separate structure that is on the same property, which
Yeah.
I think is a great idea, because then everybody really does have their own space, but then you
Yes.
can all convene in the backyard, and there's a little
Yes.
walking path to the actual house from that
Yes.
to, to the main house. So, Granny or whoever can come and hang out in the
It's
main
nice.
house too.
It's
But,
really nice.
yeah.
Casita.
yeah, a little casita.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those at my
Yeah.
house. That'd be great.
How do we get this?
I don't know. Well, first of all, building codes have to allow
Yes.
it. And I think depending on the size of your property, like
Yes.
accessory dwelling structures and all of that. You got to have room for it.
Yeah.
And then the plans for the builders have to exist.
And then you have to be able to afford.
Yeah. There's
build
that, the
one.
money part. Yeah, the money part.
Yeah. So we think it's a good idea. We wish there were more of them. We know that there's a super high demand. I don't think that's going to go away. I think it's
No.
going to get.
As costs continue to increase, I think more people will be forced into this.
I think kids, if they are willing to live where you live, they're going to come home after they finish schooling or just stay home, and they're going to live at home because they cannot afford
Right.
to live on their own.
Yeah.
So, whole nother. Why are we I feel like we're talking about all the problems. Can we? Is
We're
there
gonna talk about something fun
positive?
next
Let's talk
time.
about something positive.
Yeah.
Next time we're going to talk about something fun and positive. But I think that's it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it for today.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.
Cheers.
Today's forecast.